Guys, let's talk the state of this team, guys. The state of the New York Mets right now. We saw what happened. If you didn't know, that Jorge Lopez, in a post-game interview, definitely, the Mets had a meeting. The Mets had their meeting that they needed to have. It seems to be a productive meeting. That's what they said. But Jorge Lopez, came out and in post game, and he was asked, does he regret what he did? He said he had no remorse. He doesn't regret what he did, and then he said he's the worst teammate, and also he's on the worst. He's on the worst team in baseball. You don't want to say that. However you feel, that is unprofessional. That is not what you say. But apparently, that is not what he said. He said he's the worst teammate in baseball. He said he's the worst teammate on this team. So it's very confusing. But the Mets DFA'd him. I don't think it was the reason they DFA'd him, but I really think that's the reason they DFA'd him. But they're saying that they DFA'd him just because of the unprofessional and how he threw the glove at the stands. You don't do that. And it's unprofessional. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But this team is in shambles. This team is just on a different level of just of everything right now. Everything is horrible right now for this team. Nothing is going right for this team. And they had to have a team meeting, after the game. And it seems to be, Francisco Lindor initiated it. So I guess Francisco Lindor is the team leader of this team, even though Pete Alonso has been on this team for longer than him. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Lindor is the one that got the contract. Lindor is the one that got the extension. Lindor and Nimmo are the guys that gotta take charge, gotta be team leaders. But the thing is, with this team, I don't know what they need to do, what they have to do. I just know there's a lot of things going wrong with this organization itself, and it's really showing. It's really showing this year. This is possibly worse than last year. And we knew last year we had Verlander, we had Max Scherzer, whatever. I didn't think we were going to win with those old guys, and we didn't at the end of the day. I didn't think that was the answer. But this year, I thought it was going to be a little bit better. We'll see the young guys play. Maybe the young guys will show up. Alvarez, Beatty, those guys. Alvarez gets injured. Ever since Alvarez has gotten injured, the energy on this team went from here to here. They were playing with a passion, a different type of energy when Alvarez was on the field. And then when he got injured, everything went to shit. Everything went to shit. Everything. So with this team, I feel like there's a lot that needs to be done. David Stearns is going to have to make some big and some hard decisions when it comes to this team. He's going to have to really sit down and, talk to Cohen and tell him, we might have to trade Alonso. We might have to trade McNeil. We might have to trade guys that aren't a part of this team's future anymore. And at the end of the day, it might be for the better of the organization. Because with Pete Alonso, Nimmo, Lindor, McNeil, this core that the Mets have, they don't win. They don't hit. They're not a group. They're not a good group together. And this goes with what Tommy Pham said last year. He just said this team had no sense of urgency. They weren't going out there and practicing early. They weren't doing everything that they can to be better. So it really shows. This really shows, and this is a tough situation that the Mets are in, honestly. It's a really tough situation. But what do the Mets actually do? Do they trade these guys? Do they reset? Because I just don't think that this core is the answer. And, and the bullpen is in shambles as well. That is a different story. I just feel like the struggles of this team it's just like a domino effect with this team. A domino effect. They can't hit in their home ballpark ever. They have one of the worst records in their home ballpark. They're just not a good hitting team. You can just sense there is no energy from this team. You guys remember the beginning of the year when Beatty was making those defensive plays and he felt like he was on top of the world and he was hitting and all of that. And then now Beatty is striking out. Beatty is barely hitting at all. Beatty is just not performing how we think he should perform. Beatty is just not, he's just not the answer at third base. Defensively, he's gotten way better. I'm not going to say he hasn't, but offensively, this is a problem. Offensively, this is an issue. And the Mets are going to really have to really think about their future. In the coming month, listen, we're not even in June. And Lindor, Lindor said we have 100-something more games left. But right now, the Mets look like the worst team in baseball. Jorge Lopez was wrong to say what he said. But this is the worst team in baseball. I have been saying it. This team just feels like the worst team in baseball. The Athletics have a better record than the Mets right now. The Marlins have a worse record than the Mets and still look better than this team. And that is crazy to even say. But I feel it's the truth. So many Mets fans feel it's the truth. What do the Mets actually do with this team? Is the team meeting gonna wake this team the hell up? Or is this just gonna keep going down and down and down and gonna get worse? Because we knew going into this year, the expectations wasn't going to be high. But the way they've been losing games, the way you feel no sense of energy from this team, no passion, that is what concerns me. That is what concerns me. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens in the coming days. They got a game today, you know what I'm saying? Christian Scott is on the mound. And Christian Scott, he's finding himself in the major leagues. He's not, I don't think he's entirely ready. He's not a complete pitcher, but he's definitely pretty good. But he's not a complete pitcher. His breaking pitches just aren't that good. He hasn't been able to control them. The fastball, he hasn't really been able to control. But this guy is tough. His demeanor is tough. And I feel personally, Christian Scott is really good. He's going to be really good. He is going to be a part of this future team. So I think that the Mets got to win this game against the Diamondbacks today. Because if they don't, they're just going to keep going down and down and be 12 games under 500 and then 13 games under 500. So this is a tough situation, guys. I don't really know exactly what to say. Other than that, the Mets have to wake the hell up. And hopefully this meeting did something. Hopefully. Because if it didn't, that really sucks. Really does suck. And we're going to see some tough decisions that David Stearns is going to just be forced to make. And it might be to trade Alonso. It might be to trade McNeil. It might be to trade Severino. These guys that have some type of trade value. This is a tough situation. It's not the situation that the Mets wanted to be in. Nobody wanted to be in. But this is the situation that the Mets are in right now. They got to wake the hell up. They got to play baseball. Because I don't know whatever sport they've been playing, but they haven't been playing good baseball, man. That is going to be the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. And yeah, subscribe to the channel on All Things Mets on YouTube.